It's interesting, the way we chose to fund the company, because we knew of the difficulty in this industry, is, and we have some great investors in the company. There's sort of two things. One, you have to believe there's going to be a change. And you have to believe it's a big change in a big industry. So I think cars are a great bet for that. You know, I think Paul mentioned phones went through a big change, sort of with the iPhone and Android. Before that, the phone industry actually looked very similar to the way the car industry looks today, where you have a lot of contract manufacturing. You still have many of the same players today, but the way the software is built and the relationship you have with the phone now is very different. You don't buy a new phone every time and then re-import your contacts and re-import and find your services again. Rather, you have a longer-term relationship. Our belief is, A, from an investment standpoint, that same type of change has to happen in the automotive business. You're not going to have a situation where the head units are rethought and completely new from scratch every time. It's not scalable from the car manufacturer standpoint. It's too expensive to rebuild the whole head unit from scratch the way they're doing it today. They're just making decisions about processors and OSs and all those types of things, rather than thinking about how do I deliver great experience to the end user. And so you have to believe that that change is going to happen, and then you have to have investors that are patient and say, okay, we believe that change is going to happen. It's a question of when, and who are those early adopters, and how do you work with those early adopters? So it's not a Snapchat kind of investment model, and you know, the classic VC that says, yeah, we're looking for a home run, we want to return the entire fund in the next 3 years. You know, those aren't the guys we're talking to. We're talking to macro guys who have long-term view of, hey, this is a big industry that's going to change. It's a massive disruptive change when it happens, as it happens, and you have to find the right investors. So we're very lucky to have a healthy blend of a macro hedge fund that does very big picture plays, as well as some top-tier Silicon Valley investors who are very forward-thinking.
Well, in advanced ADAS and autonomous vehicles, automakers actually are not difficult to work with. They all have aggressive roadmaps, and they don't have that many options, and we found that they are embracing innovation quite a bit. The sales cycle is what it is. They are bending some rules sometimes. Let's just say up front that certainly the presence of Google car and the style of Tesla is causing the whole industry to move faster than it has historically moved. Yeah, it's in the near term for revenue, much like what Josh said, our revenue will be indeed from fleets. We don't have to only install our systems in brand new passenger vehicles. They can go on truck fleets. It's a very exciting space. It's a large space. It's a space that's remarkably void of solution, and is pulling very hard for those solutions. So it's actually I wouldn't want to be in any other space, not because I'm an automotive guy, because I'm not an automotive guy by background. I'm an optical engineer, and we have a bunch of engineers who could be doing anything. It's just it happens to be the most exciting space today.
So James's view is kind of sitting in the middle between the little guys and big guys.
Yeah, because Harman actually makes us stuff for car companies, so I actually deal with this on a day-to-day basis. I guess the one thing I can say is it's actually a very difficult problem for us. Besides, the automotive companies don't know about this trend. They are well aware of what's going on, and they've seen the revolution happening in the handset space. They know what's going on. It's just that, to your point earlier, I mean, the life cycle of the car is very, very long. It's typically like 4 to 7 years once the car is actually built and being sold in the marketplace. And prior to that, it takes about 4 years to design the car and so on. It's a very difficult problem to solve. So Harman is actively participating in this space. But the problem is this, right? If you want to do innovation into the car space, just imagine that there's only 24 million cars are sold in every year. The scale between mobile platform and car platform is entirely different. So if you were to win every single car that's sold in the marketplace today, whatever profit you have times 24 million, you may not be that big enough for VC companies to actually fund the company, right? So you actually reach the scale very, very quickly. So the way you have to look at the automotive industry, I think, has to be very, very different from mobile. And then the unfortunate thing is the people that are looking at the space is actually coming from the mobile background, and there's a big gap. And the gap has to be bridged.